Welcome back. Jason Eastman is a sociology professor whose primary research focuses on Southern rock music and how this music at times can depict social inequality amongst all classes of people. He is here to shed some light on the subject and to tell us about what he has learned through his research. Welcome, Jason.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tell me what it is that you teach here at Coastal.
Well, my teaching actually lines up very close with my research. As you just said, it's loosely about social inequality, but not just class, but also race, gender, sexuality, age, sexual orientation, and any different way we can kind of categorize people and then pull them out into a hierarchy.
Why did you get interested in the culture of Southern rock and roll?
I was actually, as a graduate student at Florida State, I actually a musician and played quite a bit, some different bands that toured regionally in the Southern rock movement. And then one day I was brainstorming with my dissertation advisor about what I was going to write my dissertation on, and in passing, I just mentioned these guys I knew who play blues-based music and kind of wave the Confederate flag around, and he just paused and went, "What?" And I said, "Well, there's my dissertation topic," and it just grew from there into a project I can't even seem to control anymore. It's just so large.
Talk about some of the fascinating things that you found out of your research.
Fascinating. I'd interviewed a lot of musicians in my research, so probably the most fascinating aspects is just seeing how these, mostly guys anyways, just how they live their lives out on the road, different city every night. Everybody wanted to be their friend, everybody kind of wanting to get in trouble here and there, and just the way they live, just so free and open-spirited, and they love what they do. Most of them don't make a lot of money doing it, but they have to be some of the most fascinating people I've ever come across in my life, and the stories they can tell, the different people they encounter, and the different things people get them kind of involved in, and they're just absolutely fascinating.
What were some of the through lines that you found were common between all these people?
All these people, well, I found out they do express what we would call what I've labeled a Southern masculinity. Southern men, especially Southern men of the poorer classes, they definitely have a culture attached to that type of manhood, and that's what I explored. It tends to have some very honorable attributes, especially being key to your word. A lot of it revolves around family, taking care of yourself, taking care of your friends, but of course it also has a darker side, like all cultures do. They tend to maybe abuse alcohol. They tend to
addictive personalities.
They tend to use drugs. They tend to get in maybe more fights than most people will get into in their lifetimes. So it is a positive and negative culture, but that's the thread I found.
How would you say the classic Southern rock and roller differs from another rock and roller from up north or another part of the country?
Well, I guess to answer that question, I do have to point out there are actually two what we call, I guess, lineages of Southern rock. There's one we can trace back to the Allman Brothers, which is more jam band based. And it tends to be a very passive, probably hippies, the most appropriate word there. Then we have the more, some people I've come across call it the dirty South. And that's actually where you get this more machismo type element. We trace that back more to Skinner and also the country outlaw movement, because oftentimes you can't take country music and Southern rock and pull them apart. They're just entwined together. So in terms of the jam band, more progressive type rock style, that's what we generally see in popular culture around the rest of the country. Now Southern rock, not only does it celebrate the South, but it also tends to be a little bit, I hesitate to use the word vulgar.
Go ahead.
But that may actually be the appropriate word.
Right.
It tends to be a little more committed to the sex, drugs, and rock and roll aspect, where we don't really see that manifest in all popular culture, which tends to be tamed down a little bit so the kids can listen to it and the parents won't get
fascinating findings, Jason. Are you publishing this?
I'm constantly publishing. As of right now, I have articles under review, articles in print, and eventually I hope to capstone it all in a book. I'm hoping to write for more of a non-sociological audience, so everybody will be able to
we
pick
would
it up
love
and enjoy
for you to do that so we can read that. Jason Eastman, fascinating. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'd like to have you again, and let's talk some more about rock and roll.
Anytime.
Okay, thanks. Up next on Coastal Today, you'll meet the leaders of Coastal's global initiatives to hear how students can have the chance to see the world and learn about cultures far beyond our borders.